Hello, everybody. Those of you that don't know me, I'm Matt's older brother, Ricky. First off, I'd like to say how nice it is to see everybody here together, enjoying one another, because Matt and Kendra have worked very hard to make today an enjoyable and memorable experience for everybody. I know personally how hard Matt has worked because I've had the pleasure of seeing him every single day at work, and as Kendra knows, that can be hard work in itself. All joking aside, Matt has always been a hard worker. He was never afraid to get dirty and never hesitated to go the extra mile to ensure the people that he cared about were taken care of. Whether that meant as a kid walking into the neighbors' houses to hand and deliver their papers, following the garbage men around on their routes on his bike until they called the police, or eating lunch with the road crews, he was always working on something. I guess you could say in those days, Matt really marched to the beat of his own drum. We had a lot of kids on our block, and most of them were about my age, a few years older than Matt. So Matt was like everybody's younger brother. Most of us would be outside playing sports, something like that, enjoying one another's company. And Matt would be down by the train tracks, either catching frogs and tadpoles or on the corner exposing himself to traffic. But everybody loved him for the little weirdo that he was. He had a great partner in crime because we could talk him into just about anything. But back then, before iPads and Xboxes and even the internet, we would entertain ourselves by working on our bikes, building ramps to jump them off, building forts down by the ditch, or going down the blue top to get a shake, look at all the cars or car hops, and playing ditch when we got home. We all had a great time growing up together. This would probably be a good time for me to thank our parents for providing us with the upbringing that we had, or at least shift a little bit of the blame their way. They taught us from day one that you have to work hard to get the things you want, be respectful, be polite, and treat people the way that you want to be treated. Our parents were always there for us, even if we were out of line from time to time. Our mom was the one we could bring our friends to get stitched up. She'd pack our lunches every day for school. She had a home-cooked meal on the table for us every night. She hand-sewed our Halloween costumes, gave us sweet spiked mullet haircuts, and attended any sporting event that we were involved in at the time. We always knew she was there because you could hear her yelling over everybody else's parents. At times she'd be working 3 jobs at once, but would always find time to put us and our needs first. And we love her for it. And I can't talk about her without mentioning her best friend, Joan. For those of you that know Joan, you know what I'm saying. I like to think that Joan was a big part of keeping her sane through all the crap that we put her through. And we've always loved when our parents would get her to babysit, and we'd stay up late eating ice cream, playing board games. And waking up early to watch Pee-wee's Playhouse and eat Cheetos for breakfast. She always had a great sense of humor, and I'm sure Matt and Kelly would agree she was like a second mother to us. You'll be singing her work of magic on the dance floor tonight later, I'm sure. Our dad taught us everything we know about being men. He was never a Mr. Fix-It around the house, but he taught us that losing your shit was part of the process of fixing something. The scariest thing our mom could say was, wait until I tell your dad when he gets home. And we did our best to stay out of trouble or at least avoid getting caught. But even she admits that we're both like our dad. He taught us to stand up for what we believe, to think for ourselves, and that a man is only as good as his word. He also taught us many other valuable life lessons, like accidentally dropping your change when paying your tab at Hooters, how to do burnouts in the summer and donuts in the winter, to never cross a picket line, and various techniques on how to escape from the police. When he wasn't working as much overtime as possible to provide for us, he'd be building us tree houses, installing pools, basketball hoops, or he'd be helping coach our sports teams. Our friends always loved when he'd come visit us at lunch because he would always have the best stories. He once left Matt and I alone in the car when we were about 7 or 5. We were at Southside Bantam, which Matt later on went to work at. But that particular day, he decided to put the car in drive and drive it into the side of the building. But anyone that knows Matt knows that he has a talent for wrecking vehicles. He's had more trucks than he's had girlfriends. And I think at one point he was paying more for insurance than I was for rent. But because we apparently look and sound alike, we're always asked if we're twins, but in reality, we're polar opposites. One obvious difference between him being so much less handsome and now I've just come to find out being so much less of a good dancer. He used to work in a record store when he was young, and the owner of the store, myself, tried steering him in the right direction, but it wasn't long before he went country and started wearing cowboy boots, line dancing, and the whole 9 yards. I thought he was just going through a phase like he did with Patrick Duffy and Step by Step in the 90s, but his love of all things country only grew. He started running with a different crowd and eventually met a girl who was into the same thing. Unfortunately, he had to go to Griffith to find her. I tried warning him that one thing leads to another, and one of these days he's going to end up getting hitched in a barn or a junkyard or whatever. But he didn't listen, and here we are. First, Kendra and I weren't the best of friends. I knew my brother better than anyone, and I knew how big of a heart he had. I was so used to looking out for him all those years that I didn't like anybody having the ability to hurt him. I gave her a lot of grief when we first met, but she took it like a champ. After our extended probationary period, we got to know one another a little better and became friends. She's been around our family for a long time now, has heard all our crazy stories, witnessed some of them firsthand, and still chose to stick around. I always knew Matt would find a special girl, but by special, I meant like wore a helmet and cat sweaters and Velcro shoes. You know? Kind of like Kelly when she was younger. I'm so glad he found someone who makes him happy and goes the extra mile for him, just like he does for everyone else. Let me be the first to officially welcome you to our family and tell you how much I look forward to being the crazy uncle who will one day corrupt your kids and teach them how to make it as hard on you guys as we were on our parents. So if everyone could please join me in a toast to the beautiful bride, the bridesmaids, and the new groom. Cheers.
Tracy Opus and did a blessing.